Good evening, everyone. We'll call the meeting to order at 6 p.m. I want to acknowledge that we are in Treaty 1 territory and the land on which we are meeting is the traditional lands of the Anishinaabe, Cree, Ojibwe, Oji-Cree, Dakota, and Dene peoples and the homeland of the Red River Métis Nation. As a council and a municipality, we will continue to work on moving forward in partnership with Indigenous communities in the spirit of reconciliation and collaboration. We have two delegations this evening. Oh, sorry. I'm a first timer here. Can I ask for an adoption of the minutes?
Sure you can. Resolved that the minutes of the regular meeting of council held at City Hall on June 8th, 2026 be adopted as circulated.
Moved by Councillor Nichols, seconded by Councillor Meyer. All those in favor? Carried. Now we have two delegations this evening. From BDO, Johan Makis and Trista White for a financials presentation.
Thank you very much. So today I will provide a brief overview of the financial operations of the City of Portage for the year ended December 31st, 2025. So the slide that's up there right now will show our independent auditor's report. So BDO has provided an audit opinion on the consolidated financial statements. In our opinion, the consolidated financial statements present fairly in all material respects the financial position of the city at December 31st, 2025, and the results of its consolidated operations, changes in net assets, and cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with public sector accounting standards. Page 6 of the consolidated financial statements is the statement of operations. This shows a summary of revenues and expenses for the year. Highlights and areas of note related to the statement of operations include the following. Total revenue decreased over prior year. This is primarily related to a decline in investment income, consistent with expenditures from reserve funds on ongoing capital projects. Investment income remains significant for 2025, given remaining unspent funding restricted for capital utility projects. User fees in operating and water and sewer experienced a small decline, which is within the normally expected ebbs and flows for this type of service provision. Total expenses increased over prior year. Protective services increased in the area of police and fire service provision. Water and sewer services were higher due to a sludge disposal project in the year. These expected expenses and their increases were reflected at the time of budgeting. Page 5 of the consolidated financial statements shows the statement of financial position, a snapshot of where the city sits financially at the end of 2025. Highlights of financial items from the statement of financial position include net additions to tangible capital assets of over $9.7 million, the majority of which was related to completion of the Saskatchewan Avenue West project, fire hall renovations, Cocoa Plats, the wastewater pollution control plant, and various smaller projects. Unearned revenue includes $43 million in grants and accumulated interest for the water treatment plant expansion, and $12 million for the water pollution control facility, which was in progress at year-end. The cash balance is also impacted by the funding received for the above-mentioned projects and is restricted for use on capital utility upgrades. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. White. Council, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. White? Seeing none, we'll move on. Thank you very much. Our next delegation this evening is Kathy McFarland from Communities in Bloom. You can step up to the microphone, and just a reminder, delegations have 5 minutes to council.
Okay, I'll speak fast. The intent of coming tonight was just to give you the highlights of what is new for this year for the Communities in Bloom. First off, I wanted to acknowledge I was able to bring several members of our committee with us tonight. So we have Lynn White and Berna McDermott, and we have our brand new member, Lori Carlson-Judson. And Lori is also a judge for the provincial Communities in Bloom, so she'll be judging in another community this year. Okay, can you just advance? Yeah, good, thank you. Thank you. Just as we did last year, we will be making a joint application for the program, and we have done so. And that will be a combination of Southport and Portage la Prairie. Last year was the first year the provincial program allowed that. And now that they've seen that, they think that's a pretty neat partnership. I know already it was confirmed yesterday that our judging date in our community will be July 31st. And there will be a formal tour that day. And we'll have the judges, there's 2 judges coming, and they'll be going through the city plus also Southport. We will be having an event at lunch, a meet and greet at the Southport Golf Course. And we will be formally putting in an invite for council to attend that. The judges always like to meet with the mayor and council if you're available then. I also know that our provincial conference will be on September 26th, and it will be in Niverville this year. They rotated around to different communities that are participating in the program. And we will also make that invite available to council for anyone who wants to attend. It's a 1-day conference. It's a bit of a long drive to get there and back, but you can make it just a 1-day event. And it's interesting because you get detailed information as to how you did on the judging and what areas could be improved. For this year, and I believe I've mentioned this before to you, but the theme for this year will be therapeutic gardens. So there are a number of different areas in the city and Southport that we'll be putting forward as therapeutic to them. And speaking about that is we have partnered with the former garden club. I don't know when they last operated. I think it was probably about 20 years ago. There's still 4 of their members still living and in the community, and they're partnering with us, and we're going to be rehabbing the Ukrainian commemorative garden. If you're not sure where that is, it's almost on the corner when you're coming down the road if you were going to the, any of those houses on Nana Lane. And it's on the left side just before you get to the corner. And so we started in the fall, and the city took out all the overgrown trees and shrubs that were there. And we've now decided on the theme, and there's been some work done at that area already, and we will be planting up that area on July the 2nd. So we'd encourage you to come look. I was there on the weekend. It was really interesting. I was putting in edging, and there was a young family who had immigrated from the Ukraine and was settling in Winnipeg and had come out to Portage, so they were very interested in that area. And the last item I want to talk about is a gardening contest. And we're partnering with Scott's, who makes the product called Miracle Go. You've probably heard of that product. And they're providing a signage. What you see on the side is the top of that signage, and they provide a sturdy pole. You've probably seen that in Members Gardens. There's one on Royal Road South that received that award several years ago. And this time it will be for businesses and organizations. And we will also be partnering with the Chamber on that. We're just starting to put the details together. We'll give you more information, not as a delegation, but we'll give you more information as we know that. And we'll also participate in the national program to apply for the best downtown in Canada, which we think we might apply for, and you never know, we might. It's certainly bringing recognition to the community. That's it that I wanted to highlight, unless you had any questions.
Excellent. Thank you so much for your presentation. Council, any questions for Ms. McFarland? Joe? Councillor Massey?
Thank you, Mr. Deputy Mayor. Not really a question. I just, Ms. McFarland and your group, and I see you got a new board member, great addition, Ms. Carlson Judson. I just want to compliment you. I've been at, I think the last, I don't know, 4 or 5, well, it can't be 5, but last 3, and getting the 5-star seems like every year. And one of the comments I get the most as a counselor about our community, a lot of great things happening, but the one that I get the most consistent, it seems, is the look of our city and how beautiful it is. And I mean, that's partly our public works staff, but it's also partly because of people like you and your committee. So I just wanted to mention that, Ms. McFarland, like the work you do is so valuable. I have friends come and see me in Portage, and they're just, with the new Saskatchewan Avenue and the look, just the look of the city, it just looks so beautiful at times, you know. So congratulations, and keep up the great work. It doesn't go unnoticed by our residents.
Well, thanks. I can't really take credit for Saskatchewan Avenue, but I appreciate that you see that as the entire group. And I will say that when we do things like this new project at the Ukrainian commemorative area, the city operations staff have been really, really supportive of that, and that helps. We definitely work as a team. You're seeing some of our group here. You'll have other things. I also volunteer for other things under Rotary and also the foundation, and there always seems to be some sort of a gardening component to that, or a green component. And with Rotary, we certainly do leverage up the employee groups from the sponsors. In fact, this Friday, we'll all be there spreading wood chips. We're going to cross our fingers it's not going to rain that day. So thank you.
Excellent. Councillor Meyer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, I would just also like to take the opportunity to echo Councillor Massey's comments. Ms. McFarland, I know you share the credit, and it's well-deserved by your entire group, but I do know your passion and dedication to the community, your gardening skills, and so on. And we need people like you in our community, and it's through the efforts that you and your team, in partnership, of course, with the city staff, that really make us the 5 stars. So again, echoing Councillor Massey's comments, I just want to congratulate you so much for your effort, and thank you so much for your time and the effort that you and your team have put into our city.
Thank you. Okay.
Councillor Porter?
Thank you, Worship. I also want to echo those words of what a great job you guys and girls do here in this community. It's a lot of hard work. I've been to a couple of your conferences, and I enjoy all the little information that's put out to us. I can't help by noticing when I drive around Crescent, around the park, the Island Park, how beautiful it is. And a lot of it is given to the work of the gardeners over there, and you guys working on your Ukrainian gardens there. But even going down the Crescent last night, when the sun was going down a little bit, I just like the breathtaking Crescent of driving down and looking at all the beautiful homes and the beautiful gardens along there all the way around the Crescent. So a lot of it is because of your initiative. So I want to thank you for that.
We definitely have a lot of avid gardeners here, and that really makes our job easy. And I did see the city out there today with their new harvesters cleaning up all the algae. Quite a job they have there. But it's nice to see that they're taking the initiative to do that. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other questions from council? Thank you, Ms. McFarland. Okay, we will now open public hearing. PC 4326, request for a conditional use, Homestead Co-op Limited, 2243 Saskatchewan Avenue West. I'll ask if there's anyone here to speak in favor of the application. Is there anyone here to speak against the application? Is there anyone here who has questions regarding the application? Okay, I'll ask for a motion to close public hearing. Okay. Councillor Meyer?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I did have one quick question of clarification. I guess we can get into that when we get to the report of council. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Chair. With that said, be it resolved, and I so move that the public hearing for conditional use PC 43-26 for Homestead Co-op Limited, 2020-43 Saskatchewan Avenue West now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. Any questions or comments, Council?
Not on that part. No. Not on the closing of it.
Any letters to be read out? Oh. Oh.
Oh, you're doing great.
Okay, all those in favor? Carried. My apologies. Councillor Meyer?
Would you like me to do the report to council now? Thank you, Mr.
Yes.
Mr. Chair. Council, in front of you, you're going to see obviously file number PC 43-26. And the issue at this time for the applicant is to allow a reader board sign in a C3 Avenue commercial zone. That's why they require the motion. Sorry, you're going to see the sketch there of where it is supposed to be located, and of course the area as well. You're going to see the actual sign that currently sits there, and then you're also going to see attached the details of the sign that they do wish to install. With that said, background, of course, Homestead Co-op has applied for conditional use to install that type of a reader board sign. They would like to replace their existing sign, which is a 4x8 sign with a new LED reader board. The application, of course, was circulated to various city departments. There were no concerns. Public notices sent to all property owners within a 100-meter radius, and as you can see, there have been no objections. With that said, and it's the administrative recommendation, and I so move that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the conditional use application of Homestead Co-op Limited to allow for a reader board sign in a C3 Avenue commercial zone at the property 2020-43 Saskatchewan Avenue West, which is legally described as Parish Lot 53 in the Parish of Portage la Prairie.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Worship. Thank you, sorry, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to our Director for City Planning. I just had the one question of clarification in regards to the sketch. I'm going to assume where that kind of blue line juts out, where the current sign is now, and the intent is to replace it in exactly the same location with the same similar size of sign. I know they've got 4 to choose from in there, and when I read the largest one is similar to what's there. So I just assume they're not moving it in any other different location.
No, so when you look at the sign, the actual picture of the sign on the screen, where the bubble sign is, that they replaced those letters, the white with the black bubble letters, they'll be removing that and putting a LED light sign in there. So that's all they're doing, is taking out the lower section where it says whatever they want to say for today. That'll be replaced with a LED light, and they'll be able to digitally put that on.
With that said, I also have no concerns and certainly will be supporting this motion. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Any other questions from council? All those in favor? Carried. We will move on to our next public hearing. Request for conditional use PC 4426 Hart at 500 Stevens Avenue, City Planning and Economic Development Committee. Councillor Meyer. Sorry, my apologies. Is there anyone here to speak in favor of this application? Is there anyone here to speak against this application? I'll ask again, is there anyone here to speak against this application? Do we have any letters?
Yes, there was one letter of objection. It has been attached to the agenda for council to review. And this, I can summarize it as saying that concerns were raised about the loss of agricultural land, noting that converting farmland to residential use can weaken long-term agricultural sustainability. Concerns regarding the potential for conflicts between residential and farming activities, such as noise, odors, and normal farm operations. The proposal is seen as potentially inconsistent with municipal planning policies, which typically direct residential growth to serviced areas and could result in added pressure on infrastructure. Concern is also expressed about setting a precedent, as approving this application may lead to similar requests in the future. And it references a previous subdivision request nearby that was denied due to concerns about the future rezoning, questioning the consistency of decision-making.
Thank you. I'll ask for a motion to close this public hearing. Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and be it resolved, and I so move that the public hearing for conditional use PC 4426 for Hart at 500 Stevens Avenue now be closed.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. All those in favor? Carried. Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Okay, council, in front of you for the report to council, you're also going to see a sketch which shows the location at 500 Stevens Avenue, which is just inside the city boundary. The request is, file number PC 44-26, which is a request for a conditional use for the applicant, Kelly Hart. And the issue is to allow a dwelling or a single-family home in an AL or limited agricultural zone. Rationale is the applicant would like to build a dwelling or a single-family dwelling on their existing property. Now, the application, as usual, is circulated through various city departments. There was a concern that the adjacent parcel is currently vacant and zoned for industrial use. The presence of a nearby residence may restrict the types of industrial development that could be permitted on that parcel in the future. We did receive one letter of objection for this application that was read into the minutes, and public notices have been sent to all property owners within that 100-meter radius. There have been no other objections other than that one. The administrative recommendation, and I so move, that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie approve the conditional use application of Kelly Hart to allow for a dwelling, single family in limited agricultural or AL zone at the property 500 Stevens Avenue, which is legally described as Parish Lot 70 in the parish of Portage la Prairie.
Moved by Councillor Meyer, seconded by Councillor Nichols. Any questions from council? Councillor Nichols.
More a comment, Deputy Mayor. I did tour the property today and had a close look at it, and there's already existing buildings in place. And yeah, I will be supporting this request. I think that the location and way it holds itself is this is a reasonable request, and I'll be supporting it. Thank you, Deputy.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. Any other comments from council? Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I too am in support of this motion, and I just want to kind of, for the record, state a couple of quick things. One, anytime a conditional use or a variance or any request, we do send out the planning district does send out the letters to the affected neighbors, which I think is a great system. I mean, people do know what's going on, and we always have the right to review. We always have the right to bring our concerns based on that. So I wanted to kind of just address the summary of objection and just part of the rationale for the record of why I'm certainly supporting this in spite of the objection, which I do take very, very seriously. More as a general overall, but it talks about concerns are raised about the loss of agricultural land, noting that converting farmland for residential use can weaken long-term agricultural sustainability. There is truth in that statement, although when I look at our boundaries of our city and the way we do have to need to expand, I do actually foresee in the future that we'll have no AL land within our city. We're not talking open recreational space, we're talking actual agricultural land, which again is certainly will be in the RM at that point. And this does sit right on the boundary. Concerns regarding the potential for conflicts between residential and farming activities, such as noise, odors, and normal farmer operations. I do believe that anybody that would be requesting to build a residential or a primary residential dwelling on that property would be aware of that. And as an individual or just one person around this table, I would have very little sympathy for that individual to complain about what he's surrounded with, because they're going into it with open eyes. The proposal is seen as potentially inconsistent with municipal planning policies. I'm going to go on to the same rationale as what I did about the one, is that you're going to start to see more and more of our agricultural land escape outside our cities or our boundaries of Portage. Concerned about setting a precedent. I do believe that there is truth to that, although again, one individual around the table, look at the application on its own merit. Precedent does have some standing, but every situation certainly is a little bit different, and I treat it on its own merit as well. So, and then it does reference a previous subdivision. I'm not going to make any comment on that because that would be a situation that would come up should this individual want to do something different than what he's planning. Currently, council, he's planning on building a primary residential dwelling in an area that I think is suited okay for it, and that's one of the reasons that I will be supporting this request for conditional use. Thank you.
Thank
Mr.
you,
Chair.
Councillor Meyer. Council, any other comments? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. We'll move right into Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee has no report in this part of the meeting.
City Planning and Economic Development Committee. Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. City Planning and Economic Development Committee has no report.
Thank you. Community Services Committee. Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. The Community Services Committee has nothing to report.
Thank you. Waterworks Committee. Councillor Nichols.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. I have nothing to report at this portion of the meeting. Thank you.
Thank you. Transportation Committee. Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Deputy Doyle. Transportation has nothing to report.
Thank you, Councillor Porter. Public Safety Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. Public Safety has no report in this part of the meeting.
Thank you very much. We have no deferred business, so we'll move right into new business. The 2025 Consolidated Financial Statements. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. Colleagues, before you, you have, as you know, we just heard the report from our auditors regarding the 2025 Consolidated Financial Statements. And this evening, we're to review those statements for the year ending December 31, 2025. And as we heard, BDO has completed the audit of the city's financial reporting and the accompanying consolidated financial statements. The auditors reviewed the results with council and addressed questions as part of the standard audit process. This review supports council's consideration and approval of the financial statements. A couple of points here that are critical to know. City of Portage reported a year-end surplus of $1.01 million in the general fund and $3.3 million in the utility fund for 2025. These results are consistent with the pre-audit financial statements you may recall were presented to us on March 10th, 2026. Administration plans to transfer these surpluses to reserves, as we've done in past years, through the 2027 budget process. Through that process, the specific reserves and allocations for both the general and utility funds will be determined. This approach aligns with the city's long-term capital planning. The general fund supports a 10-year capital plan that identifies $5.12 million in capital expenditures for 2027, while the utility fund supports a significantly larger capital program with $134.9 million in projected expenditures, including the water treatment plant upgrade and expansion. So you can see we have a lot of good use for our surpluses to go back into those funds. In 2025, the city's net investment in capital assets totaled $9.7 million. These investments focus primarily on core infrastructure, such as roads and utility systems, which support ongoing service delivery and asset sustainability. Following council approval, the consolidated financial statements will be submitted to the province of Manitoba and posted on the city's website. So the recommendation, and I would move that council of the city of Portage la Prairie approve the consolidated financial statements for the year ended December 31, 2025.
Moved by Councillor Massey, seconded by Councillor Meyer. Does council have any questions or comments? Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. Just a couple of comments. First of all, you know, I get asked a number of times, why are you taxing me and still having a surplus? And I get that question. People see you've got surplus, so why do you need to tax? And the reason is, and you can see, we're investing massively in infrastructure. We've got a lot of needs, And so we use those surpluses to go back in and into our capital budget, utility, and general fund so that we can continue to be a city that's sustainable, and we need good infrastructure. We can't attract investment. We can't do the things we want to do without good infrastructure. So that's, just wanted to make that point. The other point, Mr. Chair, is I want to thank our staff, our city manager, our director of finance, and all the I said that when I did the budget. This is one of the things that a lot of municipalities have difficulty with, is the finances. They're not accounted for properly. There's issues in the municipal office where the funds are going. The public is asking questions and there's no answers. Here in Portage la Prairie, and as finance chair, I can say that the public should be very much assured that our dollars are in good hands with our staff, and the audit proves it. Another great, clean audit. So I just wanted to congratulate our staff and the work that they do. This is a big job. A lot of these, keeping these millions of dollars, accountable, and making sure that council has the best information of where our dollars are going, and the public can see where we're spending the money. So just a big shout out to our city manager and our finance team. They're just a great group of who really, I feel as finance chair, that our dollars are well looked after. So just wanted to put those few comments on, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Massey. Any other comments or questions from council? Seeing none, all those in favor? Carried. Our next item of new business, the award of land lease tenders, Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Colleagues, before you have the issue of awarding of some land lease tenders. The issue is for administration, based on our approval, to enter into land lease agreements with Thiessen Acres Limited, Sissons Farms Limited, 101-94295 Manitoba Limited, and Spinarski Farms Limited. And as you may know, the City of Portage leases certain city-owned land to third parties for agricultural purposes. And these areas are offered through a formal tender process to ensure fairness and transparency. And you have in your package the maps identifying the location of those lands. Administration has completed the tendering process for the upcoming lease term and is seeking council authorization to enter into lease agreements with the successful bidders. The agreements include standard terms and conditions, including provisions that allow the city to terminate leases should the land, and this is very important, be required for future municipal use. The following is a list of the current leases, size, and amounts, excluding GST, for areas A, E, F, G, H, and K, which expire November 30th, 2026. And I'll just read them out for the record, because I think it's important you see the amounts. Thiessen Acres, Area A, it's 154.8 acres, $29,000 is the award there. Area E, Sissons Farms, 23.3 acres, $1,200. Area F, Sissons Farms Limited, 11.6 acres, $423. Area G, Thiessen Acres Limited, 32.6 acres at $6,550. Area H, Thiessen Acres Limited, 29.7 acres for $1,500. And Area K, Spinarski Farms Limited, 5.4 acres for $100. A tender was issued for these for the term of December 1, 2026 to November 30th, 2031. And the tenders were sent to the previous lessees, as well as advertised on the City of Portage website and social media sites. The tender closed on June 15th, 2026. And then on the next page, you'll see what came in and the bids and how the award was given. The recommendation, and I would move that the Council of the City of Portage la Prairie authorize the lease of city-owned land as shown on the attached maps to the following, and I won't read them again. Those are the lists there that I read just now. For the period December 1, 2026 to November 30th, 2031, and that the city manager and manager of administration be authorized to execute the leases on behalf of the City of Portage la Prairie.
Moved by Councillor Massey, seconded by Councillor Meyer. Any questions or comments from council? Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and through the chair to our city manager. This obviously happens only every 5 years, so it would have been 2021 when we last reviewed it. I'm going to assume that the successful applicants that sign the lease is really determined the operations that can take place on this land at any given time. Am I correct in that?
Ms. Chakota?
Through your worship, I think it's still the same. Yep. Through your worship to Councillor Meyer. Yeah, the lease agreement does say that the premises are to be used by the tenant only for agricultural purposes. So that is a very simple condition in the agreement that must be abided by. Any other uses would violate the terms of the agreement, and we would have to look at terminating as a result.
Thank you for the clarity.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer. Councillor Massey?
Thank you, Your Worship. The just a question to administration, and I think I know the answer, but I just want to put it out there and I'm sure a number of people are just asking. These prices, are they like you have stuff from $29,000 for 154 acres down to 5.4 acres for $100? Like, it just seems the dollars. I mean, I know these are leases; we're not selling land, but can you just explain a little bit of how this works with these prices, like $100 for 5.4 acres versus some of the larger ones? Just I know they come in as tenders, and these people do use these lands for agriculture and keep the land nice and cultivated, and that. Just any background you can give, just looking at these numbers, one would ask, $100 for 5.4 acres just seems like an odd amount. Just any information you can provide.
Ms. Chakota?
Through your worship to Councillor Massey, the way that this works is that it's an open tender, so people can submit the bid that they feel is reasonable, and of course it's always subject to someone bidding more than you, so they take that into consideration when they make that. I believe the one particular related to the 5.4 acres is a small parcel in the middle of a larger parcel that's farmed, so it appears based on the map that it would be otherwise inaccessible by anyone else, which probably lowers its value in the market. So a number of things can affect it, but it really is just market value and the perception of the people that are submitting bids.
Councillor Massey?
Thank you. Yeah, that makes sense, and I understand. But just for clarification, when you see these numbers, so just so I'm clear, these because I haven't been through these processes before. These lands are throughout the city that the city leases to them, and they are these individuals then undertake that they will use it for agricultural purposes, and it's a great thing to keep these lands cultivated, looking nice, and not looking full of weeds and that. But they have to be used for ag purposes. Is that correct?
Ms. Chakota?
Through your worship to Councillor Massey, yes, that is correct. Any other use other than agriculture would violate the lease and would be subject to termination.
Councillor Nichols?
Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. Just a question to possibly Ms. Chakota. I see that area G and H are bigger at this go around of as comparatively from our last piece. They've grown in size, or is that a typo, or just a question?
Ms. Chakota?
Through your worship to Councillor Nickel, I would have to take that one back and take a look at that before I could provide an answer. I don't have the maps in front of me, but I think the Director Friesen could speak to the one under G for sure.
Ms. Friesen?
Wrong button. Just to clarify, when Area G, that's located right next to the wastewater treatment plant, and during the last tender session, or for the land rental, we were under construction for the LRAR, and so we weren't sure at that time what land would be needed or not. We were also looking at the wastewater plant expansion at that time, so we had reduced the amount of land to be available. And now that we know where that project's at more, and we have more of an idea for the next 3 years, we were able to release more of that land.
Councillor Nichols? Sorry, we'll call on Ms. Laquia Jobin.
For Area H, that is the former Agassiz. So when we were looking at the parcel again, we expanded the area that we would like to get farmed.
Councillor
Thank you.
Nichols.
Thank you.
Any other comments from council? Questions? Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. I think just based on some information that we've received on the possible intent of some of this property, that it might be pertinent to table this so we can get more information, particularly seeing how we're not really pressed for time to make a decision on this. So I would go ahead and make that motion.
Thank you, Councillor Espy. Motion to table until next meeting?
Till the next meeting of council, yes.
Okay, so no motion is required. We just table it. Do we need a seconder? It was moved and seconded. Just leave it. Okay. Any other comments? Or do we have to just leave it for now?
If you tell me that date, I will say it.
July 13th?
To July the 13th. And my rationale is simply because I don't want to see somebody get trapped into a contract that they are not fully understanding the scope of.
Thank you, Councillor Espy. Do we have to have a vote to table it? No? Just table. Okay. No. Okay. So table till July 13th. Perfect. Make it easy for me on my first time in the chair here. Next order of new business, May building reports. City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Your Worship. Council, I've been again saying these reports for 8 years now, and it warms my heart every time I'm able to read one, especially when I certainly see the results of what's happening. It does go to show you the depth that our planning district is involved in. Again, you'll see the planning reports or the building permit reports for both the city and the RM. As usual, I refer to the combined as we are a regional body. But that said, in summary, for the combined one, you're going to see a couple of things. Bottom line, we know that permits may be down a touch, but the value is more than double what was there. Patterns continue. New single housing permits are down in numbers, down a little bit in value, but of course, I don't look at it on a month-to-month basis. I get really not concerned, sorry, wrong choice of words, but I compare it year over year is really in my standard, but I appreciate the month over month. Your start to see repairs are similar to where they were last year. Shows you that people are investing dollars and cents back into their homes or their residential properties. Commercial, same pattern as well. Repair has gone up there a little bit as well, even though the permits might be down. Same pattern with industrial. You'll see some new industrial permits, which shows you, of course, some business expansion. Institutional, you'll see that there's some repair permits there as well, which shows that, again, corporations are putting, or sorry, government maybe, are putting their dollars back into the buildings. Again, farm buildings, I'm not going to really refer to as that's primarily ARM, but you'll certainly see under miscellaneous that the RTMs, which I always call a cottage industry, or the moving of RTMs is certainly up, and RTMs continue to be built. That said, this year we have 76 permits worth $20 million compared to last year of 88 permits with 9 worth just under $10 million. So unless there's any questions, that really is my May report.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer. Council, any questions? Seeing none, we'll move on. There's no old business, so we will adjourn council at 6:45 p.m. and move right into committee. Finance, Legislative, and Property Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Your Worship, and colleagues. Just a few for finance. A couple of things. Number one, Once again, we'll be doing some videos regarding the budget that we approved, so look for those. I think they're almost completed. I think there's one more to do. But some of the highlights from the budget, just short little videos. There's no cartoons, no suspenders this time around. So it'll be a little more just informational, but you know, I think they're important for the public to get a quick snapshot of the good work that we're doing as a council. Just on a personal level at FCM, I'm back as vice chair of Rural Forum, so hopefully that continues the lobbying for small communities and rural communities, and certainly we'll keep you up to date on anything relative to that forum. But it's an important one for smaller communities, so I'm pleased to be there as vice chair. There was a lot going on. I won't highlight all the openings, or maybe other council members can speak to them, but I do want to mention the Hospital Foundation. We had a board meeting, as you know. We had a great announcement on mammograph services here because the Portage Foundation stepped up and invested $725,000. So a couple of things from the last board meeting. We are planning our first annual general meeting for our donors and obviously council members to attend. Come and see the good work. I think it's around September 29th. You'll get some information on that, but a really great event that we're having, the first time ever. The Hospital Foundation will be having a public meeting and explaining what we're doing for the past year. So look for that. And then our gala this year will be a little earlier. It'll be early October. So look for that as well. It's a sort of a must attend. It sells out every year, and it's a great fundraiser for the foundation. I do want to mention one event that I attended, and I have to because I enjoyed it so much, was the Filipino Independence Day celebration. I know Councillor Doyle was there, the mayor was there. I think that was it. Just a great day. They elected a new a woman. I can't remember her name off the top. Very young woman to now lead it as president, and it's a great they just treat you so well. We just had a great time there, and just a great shout out to the Filipino community in Portage la Prairie. June 15th, I along with a few other councillors attended the district AMM meeting. Councillor Doyle, of course, is our representative on the board of AMM, so it was great to see him up there chairing the meeting and actively involved with AMM. The one thing I do want to highlight, we did speak to a number of resolutions, of course, that we supported, but the one that I think the city of Portage passed and is a great resolution, I talked to AMM today, is the download that we have gotten from Manitoba Hydro for our water treatment for a substation. This is a major download, $5 million download. To build our water treatment, extra costs, and I think it's going to be important to make the membership of AMM aware this is the kind of things that Hydro is doing, and just putting another cost on our work to try and get an expanded water treatment plant. So we need to speak about that at convention and make sure that the government gets the message on that one. Attended the SETI workshop like all of the council. Great day. It was a great opportunity to meet with our other partners, Dakota Plains and Long Plain, and our two other partners in the city, and talk a lot about cultural things around and governance and how they operate versus the city and so on. Very, very interesting day. Councillor Porter and I attended the Alzheimer's Walk, and it was a great event. That group does a great job every year, and it was just great to be part of that. And the nice thing when I walk with Councillor Porter, we just talk about a lot of different things and catch up on life. So it was great to have a walking partner there. So thank you, Councillor Porter. And I was also very pleased, like all of you, to be at the proclamation signing for National Indigenous Peoples Day in the mayor's office. I think that's always a very important thing that we to have all of council there. Was a great to see that. And today we had a few other things, but that's my report for now, Your Worship. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Massey. City Planning and Economic Development Committee, Councillor Meyer.
Thank you, Your Worship. I would like to take this opportunity just to quickly also recognize PRED, or our Portage Regional Economic Development body. Just to clarify that, of course, we know that they are a regional body, that they represent the entire RM. And again, I just want to kind of bring that back out as well. We know we've got the planning district that does an incredible amount of work. That starts, again, the permits, as I always get excited about, kind of as shovel in the ground. And lastly, you start to see the brick and mortar that takes place. And we've had a number of expansions, a number of openings. I'm afraid to mention specific ones because I might miss the odd one, and I certainly don't want to do that. But we had a number of openings today that were specifically economic related. So to see those kind of companies invest in our economy, I think really shows that our community is where it's at. We know that economic development's not always brick and mortar. It's creating the environment so that you can have economic development and investment, whether it be national or international or local. And I just want to recognize the planning district again and the PRED department that works so well together to be able to create that environment. And I talked to the odd individual, and they just say, you know, when I need something done, we just get it done. We talk about it, right? There's no word no that comes out. It's more like, hey, let's find a way to get it done. So proud of our economic development departments, however that looks, and see the expansion and everything that's going on through our communities. So again, we were at a couple of ribbon cuttings today, which is pretty exciting. But of course, we know that's the end result. And to see some of these business owners and the pride that they put into it, and investing in our community is just really, really cool. Thank you, Your Worship. And that's the end of my report.
Thank you, Councillor Meyer. Community Services Committee, Councillor Espy.
Thank you, Your Worship. It is the last meeting before Canada Day, so let's remind everyone that the Portage Regional Recreation Authority is hosting a full day of Canada Day celebrations and activities for the whole family on July the 1st at Stride Place. Activities will take place rain or shine, from breakfast to fireworks. There's something happening throughout the day for everyone. And for all the additional details, visit Stride Place's Facebook page or website. And that concludes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Espy. Waterworks Committee, Councillor Nichols.
Thank you. Thank you, Deputy Mayor Doyle. I attended a number of celebrations over since the last meeting, but two that I'd like to speak to. On Sunday, lots of us from council, and I was honored to carry a flag for National Indigenous Peoples Day over at the Island Park. It was a beautiful day. We had nothing but sun and you know, honestly, some of the best tasting hot dogs I've ever had. They were very good with apple options, and you know, it really warmed my heart. We had a special guest appearance by our Premier Canoe, which was very nice. He took a good part of his day out and met a lot of folks in our community, and that's it was very welcoming and nice to see that he spent the time. Gave some very encouraging words to everyone in attendance, and the dancers that we had were phenomenal. Some of the presentations were just absolutely terrific. And again, the organization and the people that put that together. There was so many around the table that made that happen, and it was a wonderful celebration. And the Friendship Center is the lead piece to that, and they did a wonderful job. The other event that I attended was out at Fort La Prairie Museum, and they were calling it the Wonder in Ellis Land. And I'll tell you, I have never seen, you know, it's such a spot out there, and the Alice Chalmers equipment that they have, it's about 300 pieces of working pieces of equipment that, you know, these enthusiasts come from far down in the States to work with members here in Portage, and what an exhibit. Not to mention Fort La Prairie is, there's a lot of great things happening out there. They're working very hard at putting new buildings together with and commissioning and of existing and new displays. It's just it's a happening spot. And there's a little coffee shop out there called Petite Cafe, and that's open during the day, and it's just something to check it out. And I can't say enough about that. The other thing I'd like to mention is it's time again for our water main flushing. So the city is starting our annual water main flushing. The purpose of the program is to wash out any deposits of iron and calcium scale from the underground water mains and to continue to provide the residents of Portage la Prairie with quality, potable, and the best tasting water in Western Canada. Crews flush the mains at high velocities to scour accumulated sediment and mineral deposits from the pipes. This can result in temporary decrease of pressure and potential water discoloration, a reminder of that. After flushing has occurred, homeowners are asked to run cold water taps until the water runs clear before using any hot water. So what that does is keep any deposits or pieces from going into your hot water tank and settling out in there. So that's a very, that's a key piece to that. Flushing occurs Sundays to Fridays from 10 p.m. till 6 a.m. They're going to go through the night and take care of that wonderful preventative maintenance job for us, starting on June 21st, which is started. So until August 14th, please visit the city's website to see which area is being flushed during and which week. There's an interactive map where you can enter your address and it will tell you when your area is to be and will be completed. So please check that out. And if you got any questions, give us a call as well if you're unsure of what's going on with that, because we need it to happen. It's very important, and knowledge and involvement in knowing which area is going to be happening is we would like you to look into that. Thank you for that. And that completes my report.
Thank you, Councillor Nichols. Transportation Committee, Councillor Porter.
Thank you, Your Worship. I too would like to, I'd like to thank the community and all the organizations that invite us as council to either come to the ribbon cutting ceremony or an event that they're having. We enjoy going to those, and it's for us, or at least for myself, it's about showing up for you. And I truly am honored for the invitation, and try to go as many as I can. But it's been a very packed week, and so just to say the least. And yeah, so it's been a wonderful journey, meeting newer parts of the community that are opening up businesses and stuff like that. So thank you for that. So going on to transportation, I want to speak about the aquatic harvesting program. So this is an important component of the Crescent Lake beautification maintenance and environmental management initiatives. The city purchased 2 aquatic harvesting machines, and they were delivered early June. And since delivery, efforts have been made to obtain boaters' licenses, train staff on safe operation of the craft, and define stockpiling areas. Starting this week, work will begin and will continue most days throughout the summer. 2 to 3 public works staff members will be dedicated to this work during this time. Each operational day, 1 dedicated machine will cut visible, dense aquatic vegetation, while a second machine collects and conveys vegetation to the shorelines for stockpiling and removal. As this is the first year of operation, time and consideration will be taken to mark potential hazards, determine weed densities, and gauge vegetation volumes to further refine our aquatic harvesting programs for future years. So the aquatic harvesting program provides several benefits to the community, and they include improved recreational access to waterways, enhanced aesthetics within parks and public spaces, reduced obstruction of water flow, improved shoreline conditions, removal of excessive vegetation before decomposition impacts water quality, as well as support for tourism and community use of the waterfront amenities. Now, I saw a picture today while we're at one of our openings of one of the harvesters on the lake, and I guess I don't know if they've actually started cutting today or they're just doing the trial run. I'm not sure if management can address that or answer that.
Ms. Lequia-Jobin?
Yes, so we didn't spend a lot of time today, but we were definitely out there trying to get our bearings. It'll take a little bit for the guys, their first time trying it today, so bit of a learning curve, but they're well on their way.
Thank you for that. Yeah, that answers my question, but it was a beautiful sight to see on the lake, and you'll probably see more people sitting on those benches watching them do that, clean it. Thank you.
Councillor Nichols, you have a comment?
Yeah, a question actually.
Question?
If in regards to the harvesting, I've been asked, and through Deputy Mayor Doyle to operations, is there a season in which we harvest in terms of, through the summer? Is there periods where we can't harvest? That's what I was asked. if you wouldn't mind, please. Thank you.
Yes, there is. So, based on the guidelines from Department of Fisheries and Oceans, we can't do any in-water work between April 1st and June 15th. So.
Thank you, and thank you, Ms. Lequid.
Thank you, and thank you, Councillor Porter. We'll now move on to Public Safety Committee. Councillor Massey.
Thank you, Your Worship. Public Safety has no report for committee this evening.
Thank you, Councillor Massey. Now, for the mayor's report, I want to talk about Bill C-14 with bail reform, and I cannot talk about it without mentioning our mayor, Mayor Knox, and the critical role that she played in helping this move along alongside Mayor Gillingham of Winnipeg and Mayor Fawcett of Brandon. So Bill C-14 is the Bail and Sentencing Reform Act, which is a major Canadian federal law that amended the Criminal Code and the Youth Criminal Code that officially passed Parliament and was given royal assent on June 15th, so just last week. The implications of changes to the justice system mean stricter bail conditions, expanded reverse onus, tougher sentencing, and tighter restrictions on conditional sentencing. So this is huge news. This happened very quickly with the amount of time that it took to go through Parliament. And I thank Mayor Knox for all of her work on this, President Valentino from AMM with her work on this. This is big for every municipality across the country. And that's all I have for the mayor's report. Thank you for being patient with me, everyone, today. And we will adjourn committee at 7:02 p.m.